Welcome back, you guys. It's Natalie. It's Hot Shot Adventures. Hanging out until Monday. It's Friday. Happy Friday. I'm going to try and speed through. Hopefully this will be the last video about trucks, purchasing a vehicle, purchasing a truck to run a Hot Shot with. Today we're going to go over my recommendations and why, and we're going to go over my trucks and what I've done to them. This will be the third part, you guys. If you haven't seen 1 and 2, those were my last 2 videos that I've uploaded. Please check them out. My first and best recommendation, you guys, even though the older model trucks are usually more reliable, I would not suggest you guys to get anything that's older than max 15 years old. And the reason why I say that is because if you don't already have direct customers, if you don't already have leads for business, you're going to be judged, right? I'm judged as soon as I jump in my truck, as soon as I jump out of my truck, as soon as I back my trailer. You know, I mean, everybody's watching me and I'm constantly judged, and that's mostly because I'm a female. But they're also looking at my rig, they're looking at my trailer, they're looking at the straps on my load that's on my trailer. We're always being judged, right? So you don't want to, even though you may want to purchase a much older truck because it's a much more reliable truck or easier for you to work on, or it's not going to have all this electrical components that are going to fail. If you are going to start out and work off of the load board, my best suggestion to you is to not get anything that's too old, because you are going to be judged. The shippers are going to judge you, the receivers are going to judge you, and the brokers are also going to judge you. And if you get a truck that is too old, you don't want to be denied any loads. You still want to look good. You still want to look presentable when you get to your pickups and your deliveries. I'm not saying you can't get it done in a 25 or a 30-year-old or plus more, older truck. You certainly can. But in the beginning, nobody knows who you are. And if you show up with an older truck, they may question the stability of the rig. And you don't want to go through that. So that would be my best suggestion. Now, if you're 6 years into this, like I'm about to be 6 years into this in a couple months, if you want to go get a 20-year-old truck and run through it from top to bottom and, make her look pretty, bring her back to life, and you already have direct customer loads, you have already established a customer base, and they believe in you regardless of the truck that you're driving, then that's a totally different story. That would be my first suggestion. Again, second suggestion, obviously, keep your payments as low as possible. In the beginning, it is going to be very hard for you. Another suggestion, and I preach it all the time, you guys, is don't start this if you don't have tens of thousands of dollars in the bank, because you are going to struggle in the beginning. Period. Bottom line. Period, bottom line. It takes a while to get from level 1 to level 5, okay? And so, and it's gonna take a while, and the company may likely take money from you before it starts paying you back, okay? That's just the industry that you're looking at, period, bottom line. If you don't know that, I am here to tell you that, and you probably need to wrap your head around that, because this is not a get rich quick. I have talked to you guys about that. This is not a get rich quick. This is an invest, 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 and eventually you will see the payout. Eventually, more than likely, you will see the payout, but you will need to invest your time, your blood, your sweat, your tears, your sanity, your money. You're going to invest a lot into starting this company before the company gets up on its feet and is able to start paying you back. The other thing that I love to preach to you guys is maintenance, okay? These are not big rigs. If you are a big rig guy who is tired of being in a big rig and you still want to do trucking, but you want to do hot shot trucking, it's a great opportunity. And you already know what the lifestyle is. Us as hot shots, we tend to run just as many miles as the big rig boys. However, our maintenance schedule is way more frequent than in a big rig, okay? Your tires are not going to last as long. Your brakes are not going to last as long. All of your fluids are not going to last as long. However, the fluids are much less, right? So I put 13 quarts. Somebody mentioned it on the comments. I put 13 quarts of oil in my trucks, right? Per oil change. A Peterbilt is like, I think they corrected me. It's like 7 gallons. It's like 7 gallons of oil. And you're probably only going to do, an oil change every like 90 days. I have to do an oil change approximately every 30 to 40 days. The frequency of maintenance is a lot higher in a hotshot rig. And so you have to be on top of that stuff. Now, the good thing about hotshot is you can climb under the truck and you can do your front differential, your rear differential, your transfer case, and your transmission fluid and your fuel filters within probably a 4-hour period or less if you get really good. In an afternoon, you can do all of the fluids under your truck. And in another afternoon, you can do the other stuff under your hood, which would be your air filter, maybe your oil change, check your other fluids, your brake fluid and all that stuff. So, but you have to be on top of that stuff. So I'm going to share with you guys now. We're going to get into what I do and the small things that have broken down on my trucks now that they have both have 332,000 miles on them. What I do as far as maintenance, which I've gone over it in other videos, but I'm going to go over it again, you guys, because it's so important. Keep it cool. We keep it lubricated. We flush fluids and we change filters often. That is what I have done. I can't tell you if that's why my trucks have been on the road and successful as long as they have. I have a strong feeling that has a lot to do with it. So, we can't, I'm not like I'm not like other companies. There are companies out there that'll run that truck to the ground, and it could be a hotshot truck, it could be a box truck, it could be a big rig, it doesn't matter. They'll run that truck to the ground, and then they'll pay for repairs rather than paying smaller increments and keeping the truck well maintained in doing regular maintenance. So again, you're going to have to choose what you decide to do, but I strongly suggest, and I strongly am on the side of regular maintenance, flushing fluids, changing filters, and checking her constantly. That's going to keep you on the road longer. That's going to keep the health of your truck up. This is what I do. You guys, when your truck is brand new, if you buy a brand new truck, it's going to have a maintenance schedule. Stick to that schedule. Once the truck gets old enough, I kind of started picking my own schedule. What I do now is every quarter, which is approximately 3 months and or 30,000 miles. Every quarter, I change the differential, front and rear. I change the transfer case and I change the transmission fluid. Very important, right? Every 10,000 miles, I use Rotella T6. I have full synthetic oil. Every 10,000 miles, I change it. I don't go a mile above 10,000. And usually I'm changing it now that the trucks have higher mileage. I'm changing it around 8 to 9. And I could even go probably lower than that. Actually, I'm looking into buying just a 55-gallon barrel of oil, of dinosaur oil, and get off the full synthetic because everybody says it doesn't really matter. So actually I'm looking at just purchasing a 55-gallon drum of oil and starting to change my oil all by myself at my own house and do it myself, which yes, I know how to do it, but I always just take the oil in the filter somewhere and I let some guys do it for me. But I think it's time to make a change for that because I can buy a 55-gallon drum for like 50% less than what I buy my oil for now in the big, 4 quarts or the 2.5-gallon jugs. So that's something that I'm looking at, especially because I have 2 trucks. Like, it only makes sense. I should have probably done this 2 years ago, but I haven't yet. So anyway, so I'm looking at doing that. So all the fluids under the truck, I change every 3 months or 30,000 miles. The oil gets changed every 10,000 miles. The fuel filters get changed. I do mine every other month. Okay, you guys, I don't do it every oil change. I do mine every other month. I put Hotshot Secret diesel, a diesel additive in my in every single tank that I fuel the truck. I'm always using that Hotshot Secret. I don't know if that has helped me or hindered me, but I get good gas mileage, good fuel mileage, and I'm pretty happy. And I've never had any fuel related issues. And that's with changing my fuel filters every 2 months. I flush the coolant twice a year. I flush it in the spring and then I flush it again. I flush, drain, and replace, the coolant. Air filters get changed as soon as they're dirty. I don't have a rubber air filter that you put the, oil or the liquid on. I haven't done that. I just regular regular air filters, and when they get dirty, I kind of shake them off and pop them back in for another little while, and when they're dirty again, I replace them. Same thing goes with the in-cab filter, brake pads, brake fluid, all that stuff. Pads get changed out. As soon as you hear a squeak on the truck, they get changed out, period. On my gray truck, I'm sure probably on both trucks, I've changed rotors by now. Can't tell you when. I changed the drive belt at about 150,000 miles, and then I changed it again at 300,000 miles. And I did that because I don't need that belt to break. There's a lot of heat under that hood, and the belt obviously is rubber, so it's not going to last forever. And that's a dummy move to not change a belt that costs between $70 and $90, and to have your belt break and you're stuck on the side of the road, and then you have probably a $700 or more repair to have somebody come and bring you a freaking belt because you can't drive anywhere. Like, that's totally lame. So I just changed the belt. Okay, no big deal. Rotors, brake pads, my caliper pin, I had mentioned that to you guys before. The white truck's 5 years old. In terms of hotshot, pretty much full-time running hotshot, that's an old truck, old in miles and old in years. Now, I'm not saying, she's gonna keep going. She's a beast. She's a very solid truck that I will hook the 10,000 pound PJ up, and I'll take her to freaking Maine. I'll take her to Washington. I don't give a crap. That truck, I believe in that truck. So it doesn't deter me, her having high mileage or her being 5 years old. It doesn't deter me at all from running her. But I had a caliper pin, right? Somebody found that for me. So that issue, the little rubber boot on the caliper pin had gone long ago. And then eventually the caliper pin became unlubricated and got stuck. And then it got bent. And I ran through my brake pad, and then, kind of messed up my rotor. So I had to replace the rotor. So I had one caliper pin go bad. So now I've just bought all new caliper pins all the way around because, you replace one, you might as well replace them all. That's another good rule of thumb, you guys. On the gray truck, this is something that I think I've touched on. The gray truck really has not made any money for me since January. If you guys remember, I tried to take the gray truck and the step deck in January out to Maine. I was going to take her to Maine, and she blew through one of the seals on the rear passenger axle. So it was leaking differential fluid everywhere. That was one seal. And I also had a small leak on the front passenger seal, which I noticed the last time we changed brake pads. I think it was me and Jason, but I don't remember. And so that had a small leak. So both seals on the passenger side had a small leak. So when I took it to the shop charges $160 per hour to work on diesel trucks, even though a freaking seal is a freaking seal is a freaking seal, but whatever. Instead of just having them replace those two seals on the passenger side, I was like, go ahead and replace all of the seals all the way around, because I'm not going to have done only half one side, and then, who knows, it could be the other seals on the seals on the driver's side never go out, or it could be in 3 months they go out, and then I'm going to be pissed off because I got to take the truck back to the shop or find somebody or whatever. I just had them replace all the seals all the way around. Now that's on the gray truck, which is 3 years old and has the same amount of miles as the white truck. I've never replaced a seal on the white truck, haven't had to as of yet. No leaks, period. So go figure, right? It doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter. Something can go out on one truck. It's the identical truck, identical mileage. One's 2 years older than the other. And, two seals went out on the gray truck. Nothing has gone out on the white truck. No caliper pins have gone out on the gray truck, and some went out on the other truck. So go figure, right? I got the truck back from the shop. They did all the seals all the way around. And then I jump on the road, right? And then the gray truck, I don't know if it has a seal at the drive shaft, where the drive shaft, comes together right about at your def tank, right? Right in the middle of the truck. They come together and do that. So I don't know if it's a seal or O-ring, but it had a small leak. So the truck is back at the shop. Hopefully I'll get it back today. I don't know, we'll see. But I had to have them change that. Again, I haven't had those issues in the white truck as of yet. Oh, and here's another thing, you guys. If you're gonna have regular shops, right? Regular places that you go to, which I also strongly recommend, see if they have a fleet program. Okay, because I was able to get at this one particular shop, I was like, dude, $160. I'm like, it's freaking seal. Like, you're already charging me rapey prices. Like, come on. He's like, well, we have a fleet program, la 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 la, and we can get you from 160 an hour down to 90 an hour. And I'm like, yeah, let's do that. So always ask for a deal. I've talked to you guys about this. You never will get a deal if you don't ask. Same thing goes with, you'll never get more money from the broker unless you try to negotiate. Always try to negotiate higher with the brokers and always try to negotiate lower with the mechanics, okay? Like, hello. So now, as far as major stuff in my trucks, they are both still running cow piss in them. I have not done a delete. I have not done a tune. I have not changed the rims. I haven't put Continental tires on them. I haven't done 19s or whatever, you know, I haven't done, they just run regular highway tires, okay? Regular brake pads, the best ones that I can find, regular everything, okay? I flush fluids and I change filters very, very, very often, but I haven't done anything extra to the trucks. Now, I will tell you this, once the trucks got to be about a little over 250,000 miles, both trucks got a larger transmission fluid pan. So now, instead of it was like 10 or 11 or 12 quarts of transmission fluid that was in the original pan that came stock with the truck, now it holds 16 quarts, okay? That keeps the transmission temperatures down a little bit more, and it keeps the fluid, I would say, the fluid a little bit cleaner for a little bit longer. Now, that does not change anything for me. I still flush the transmission fluid every 30,000 miles or 3 months. The transmission is very expensive, and the only way to help keep it lasting longer is to flush the fluid. Well, my opinion is to flush the fluid more frequently and keep fresher transmission fluid in there as often as you can. Now, what I just did also for the gray truck was I had the S&S diesel disaster filter kit, whatever. It was about $1,500 bill, but it's a diesel disaster prevention kit. It's from S&S Diesel. It's a small part. It's basically an extra filter, but in the event that you put bad diesel in your truck, it should stop at the S&S Diesel whatever prevention kit. It's like an additional filter, and it should stop there instead of running metal through your whole fuel system, and then you have to change everything, which is going to cost you about $15,000 and probably months of downtime. I put $1,500 part in it to hopefully ensure that, God forbid, if I ever do get bad diesel, I'll be okay, right? Again, I use the Hot Shot Secret. I believe in that stuff. I've used it ever since I was brand new. I'm almost 6 years into this now. So that white truck, again, 5 years old, 330,000 miles. Neither of my trucks show any sign of stopping or slowing down. They both shift really well. The turbo seems to be still in great working order. I don't hear any slippage. I don't feel anything weird on my trucks. I believe that they should continue to last me for the next at least 2 or 3 more years. I'm hoping, but we'll see. But they don't show any signs of stopping, period. I haven't had a CP4 issue. I haven't had any other issues in my trucks. Maybe some of that is luck, but I doubt it. And maybe some of that is regular preventative maintenance, flushing fluids and changing filters. Maybe, I don't know, maybe somebody's just looking out for me. I don't know. I can't tell you. All I can tell you guys is what I've done and share that knowledge with you guys and give you my pro tips. Now, I'm going to end with this. If you guys have any questions, of course, always leave them in the comments for me. If I'm sure there's something that I forgot. I don't normally rehearse this stuff, and I don't normally write notes. So whatever I'm going to yap about for the day is kind of what you get, and I do my best to edit it. I will leave you guys with this. If I had to do it all over again, okay, I would not have purchased the gray truck as quickly as I purchased the gray truck. The intent was always to, when it came time to get another truck, I should have ordered it directly from the manufacturer, skipped the dealer, skipped all the added costs, skipped all the extras that I did not need, and ordered the truck straight from the manufacturer. The way that I wanted it, with the tow package that I wanted, with the upgrades that I wanted, or the upgrades that I didn't want, and I should have waited for the truck. Now, if you guys remember, I bought the gray truck kind of in a hurry because I was hiring my nephew and I wanted to make sure that he had a safe, reliable truck to be on the road in. So that's why I went $70,000 in the hole to buy the gray truck, because before the gray truck, I had that black flatbed, that 2016 F350 that constantly gave me problems. So I traded that truck in for the gray truck specifically for my nephew. Had I not been in a hurry to do that, what I should have or would recommend that you do is order the truck straight from the manufacturer. Bypass the dealership, go get financing at your at your local credit union or at your bank, or however you're going to get your financing, and then go directly to the manufacturer and get the truck that you want to get. Okay, and probably this would be for your second truck, because first truck I would recommend that you just go and get whatever F350 that you can get your hands on, which is more than likely going to be financed in your personal name. And your second truck, which will be a year or two or however many years later, once you've started Hotshot and been doing it for a while, when you go and get your second truck, that will be in the business name, because you will have done your taxes and you're able to show that the business is making money and that you can, finance the truck in the company name. And, you can get financing. There's a lot of ways to get financing when you do it that way, after your business is established a couple of years. That would be my best suggestion. I have zero plans. If one of my trucks burns on the side of the road tomorrow, I will not run and go and replace it. I had a driver lined up these last couple of weeks for me to hopefully put into the gray truck and the step deck. And because my truck has been in and out of the shop so much with these seals and now I have kind of pushed him off a little bit. And, I totally get it. He had to go find a job. So he went and found a job. So I still don't have a driver for my second truck. And I'm okay with that right now. We'll see, what happens in the future. Whatever, we'll see. But if one of my trucks went down, I would not go out and replace it right now. And I have zero plans of buying any more trucks at this point. My focus currently is on my guys. I have 3 guys leased onto me right now, and I dispatched for one, about to be 2 other people, people who were Patreons of mine, and now they've asked me to dispatch them. And so they have their own MC, their own DOT, but I'm going to assist them, or I do already, or I'm going to start assisting them with dispatching. My plate is full. I'm not looking to lease anybody else on. If I find a driver, for my gray truck, great. If I don't, I'm okay right now. I'm okay. We'll see. We'll see how things go. So you guys, the market is tough. The truck to load ratio, I've been fighting it. Jason's been stuck in the Southwest. I've bounced him around, the 4 corners, basically those 4 states. I've bounced him around for over a week. And he's picking up in Denver right now, and he's going back to Salt Lake because that's all that I could frickin' find. I can't get anything that's worth a damn out of Colorado that's going east of the Rockies, which is what I was telling him yesterday. I was like, I want to get you east of the Rockies, that we got to get you out of this area. But I just, I can't find the right loads to get him into a different area. So we've just been keep going circles around, Salt Lake to Phoenix to Denver to we just keep, running that circle. And I'm so grateful that, he is very flexible and he's understanding. And so long as we can get him the correct rate per mile, then he's okay. It doesn't matter where he gets sent. Same thing with Eddie. I love my guys. Same thing with Brent. He seems pretty flexible as well. That's always a good thing when you are flexible as to where you can go. Then you can chase the money a little bit better. But the truck to load ratio, it's still really high, and I can't tell you, I can, that's a whole other video. I'm sure I can tell you what my opinions are with that. There's just a lot of competition right now. If you're looking at starting, be ready, be prepared. It's going to take a while, and you're going to run at a lower rate per mile until you get 6 months to 12 months under your belt, period. And you have to understand that going into this. I ran for peanuts in the beginning, and it was way easier 6 years ago when I started. And now, I watch people go through this process and start their own hotshot company, and they run a lot more loads for a lot cheaper rate per mile until they can get, their company established and stabilized within, some brokers and some people that want to work with them. It's rough, you guys. It's not going to be easy. It's way easier to go work for somebody else. It's way less stressful. When that truck breaks and you're driving somebody else's truck, you just throw them the keys and say, I don't know. Let me know tomorrow when I come in at 8 o'clock in the morning which truck you want me to take, because this one's broken. bye. You know, I mean, you can do that when you work for a large company. When it is your company, you need to take care of that truck. You need to take care of yourself, and you need to be willing and ready to, again, put your blood, sweat, tears, money, time, energy, stress level, you know, pull out your hair. I got gray hairs, you guys. Trucking has like done a number to me, okay? But I wouldn't trade it, you know, I wouldn't trade it for the world. I have a great team, but it's taken a long time, you guys. I've told you twice in this video. In July, I will have 6 years with my MC. So it's taken a long time to get where I am now. Perseverance, dedication, bet on yourself, and do your best to enjoy the ride, because there's going to be ups and downs just like any other roller coaster. You guys take care, stay safe. If you have any questions, let me know. And again, we're waiting to get to 20K so I can do that giveaway. So if you're not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. You guys have a great weekend. I'll talk to you soon.